Now to the latest on the cleanup after this week's winter storm in Pacific Palisades. One family survived the fire with their home intact, only for it to then be swallowed by a mudslide after the burn scar gave way amid all that rain.
Eyewitness News reporter Sophie Flay joining us live now from that home in Pacific Palisades. Sophie?
Michelle, Jory, this is just a small portion of the damage on this property. Nancy Waterman has lived here for 20 plus years. She's 70 years old. This is her home, but it's also her income. So what we're standing in here is one of a few guest houses on this property. And as you can see, I mean, it's a total loss. My photographer, Will, is giving you a better look of this 2-bedroom. All of the furniture was destroyed and moved out over the last few days. And there was a small crew here earlier shoveling out mud. But as you can tell, this is going to take a while. Her property makes up about 3 acres, and she says the mud was at least 3 feet high. And I don't know if you can see that muddy line along the wall there. That's the water line. That is how high the mud flooded this guest house that, again, she rents out. So Nancy says the mud was coming from all directions over the hillside surrounding her house. The creek behind her house flooded as well, and the mud just moved in. I want to show them this where the kitchen was. You can see that this cabinet has been kind of shifted. It looks like it's been lifted up. And I asked her, I said, was this lifted up? And she said, no, that is just how strong the mud was. It completely lifted up by itself. If you get a little bit closer in here, Will, you can see, this is another visual, just how high this mud came up. The mud seeped into the stove. Nancy says there were a few K-rails put up outside of her front gate, but the mud was so strong that not only did it jump the K-rails, it took out the gate. Her home narrowly survived the Palisades fire, but she says she doesn't know where to go from here.
This is overwhelming. I can you can throw me a task and I can do it. But I don't think there's a way that I could ever get through everything that's happened with the flooding.
To have mudslides that are carrying, unfortunately, we don't know what, toxic ash, whether it's lead, arsenic. There's been porta potties from the neighborhood that washed onto her property. So there's all kinds of things that are unknown about the toxin.
And again, she said there were about 3.5 feet of mud that moved in here on her property. It's kind of hard to believe because so much of the mud has been moved out. But you can take a look at this car here. She said that the night that the rain really started moving in, this car was parked here. It hasn't been moved, but it was spinning. I mean, spinning in the water, spinning in the mud. She says she's frustrated not only by the lack of preparation from the city and the county, but she's really disappointed that other than her family, no one has checked in on her. So again, I mentioned she had crews here earlier, but those are people that she found. These are friends that she's leaning on to help dig her way out of this. Live in the Pacific Palisades, Sophie Flay, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Hello, I'm Mark Brown. Get more great ABC 7 content by clicking the subscribe button for our YouTube channel and download the ABC 7 Los Angeles streaming app on Fire TV, Android TV, Apple TV, and Roku to watch on your TV.